everybody. Good evening. Good evening as the clock strikes 7 o'clock on the nose. 7 on the nose. And what a nose it is. Welcome from New York. Live, as always. The way that Quite Frankly always is. We're a live show. And I'm happy to have you here hanging out with me tonight. Should be a good one. Right in the middle of the week. It's Hump Day. And I can't wait to do tonight's show. Because we have such great, rich subject matter. We're talking about the most meaningful jobs you've ever had in your life. I have so many incredible things that have come in. I have things, and then of course I have the original material that inspired tonight's actual subject. So we're gonna have that. It came from a viewer at home. I get a lot of ideas from the viewers at home. Get great emails. You know, they ask me questions. Sometimes it's just a suggestion, outright suggestion. They say yes, that could be easily adapted for a show topic. And then other times, just the conversations I have with you guys lead to new ideas that become show topics as well. So I just think that we're always, the more that we interact with each other and support each other, and the more you guys support the show and interact with the show, I should say, the more it kind of just, it's almost like how AI feeds off of all of our input into the matrix here and tries to cobble together a little bit more of a synthetic understanding of what mankind is all about and our tendencies. Only nothing about us is synthetic, and it's really just the way that we were meant to interact and to network. Yes, it's on a digital platform, and perhaps there is some synthetic intelligence that is listening to all of our conversations and trying to learn about us that way, but let the AI do its own thing. It can go get the hell out of here. Who cares? We got a conversation to be had. So there's that on this March 12th, 2025. Greetings to all of you, whether you're watching on quitefrankly.tv, which is the home base, the HQ of Quite Frankly. And then there's Rumble and YouTube and Twitter and DLive and Kick and actually, you know, our West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania radio syndicate out there too. So we got to talk more about that. And I want to bring more radio on. Of course, I am an issue for AM FM, but some people don't care, and that's nice. That's nice to know. Anyhow, so good evening, one and all. I have a few things up front. Tomorrow night we're going to be doing a little bit more of the death row, the death penalty talk that I was starting to plant the seed for last night. You'll see how that works out. Friday night, I think we're going to do open lines and finally do the positive celebrity stories and all that, because I'll be here alone and just taking you guys and gals for a ride around the block. That's really what it comes down to. And there you have it. We're going to wrap up a week. I'll actually have a weekend this week. I loved last week, and I know I had to do the show on Saturday night, and then of course there's always a Sunday stream with the sponsors. But you know, I haven't had a day off in a few weeks, and it'll be good to have that this weekend, because next week we're going to have a lot of great guests, and I want to do some guest research and things like that, read for book club, and it'll be nice. All right, first things first, when it comes to our grab bag, I went back because some people suggested that I go and take a listen again to the Del Bigtree spot that he had on Tim Pool, one of Tim Pool's streams. He does a couple of side streams outside of Timcast IRL. And later in the episode, they do spend a good amount of time actually describing how the market is not free in many of the ways that Jay and I were doing, which I was relieved to hear. I was. Admittedly, I couldn't watch the whole 2-hour show in the middle of a work day, but you know, what I had watched seemed pretty definitive, and I didn't, at least when I was, you know, taking a gander at it last Friday, I did not, I didn't see it as facetious. So fortunately, either way, I just wanted to say, it seems there was more to that than the first 10, 15 minutes. And I just wanted to put that out there because you guys said, hey, you know, give it another look. And I got some timestamps and said, all right. So, which is fortunate because that was a head scratcher. It really was. Okay. So that out of the way, I want to go on to something else. Here's a little bit more on the Elon Musk side of things, but we're getting back to Neuralink. And, trademarking has been a big part of my life in the last week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Not tonight, but soon. Here is the headline from Newsmax. Elon Musk's Neuralink files to trademark telepathy. What? Elon Musk's Neuralink filed applications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on March 3rd to trademark telepathy and telekinesis, as well as other names for future products. Wired report on Wednesday. Talk about derivative. Telepathy and telekinesis as future products. Now, you can probably guess where that's all going. The trademark application for telepathy application describes an implantable brain, a brain-to-computer interface for facilitating communication and control of software and hardware, which Forbes reports could be used for aiding people who were paralyzed. Meanwhile, telekinesis filing points to controlling physical objects such as robotic arms, while Blind Sight, another application, targets vision restoration. Imagine that. So I knew that's what it was going to be, something that has to do with being able to use your mind to move things that your limbs aren't doing, because of course all of this is at least being marketed up front as being able to give more utility and autonomy back to people who are physically impaired, which I'm all for this technology being implemented for. I think that's a great way to implement the technology, I should say. Somebody who's a quadriplegic, paraplegic, whatever it is, but it's all going to be about mind affecting matter, controlling matter through however. But the real thing there too, the telepathy part is something I'd really love to know more about. Because, of course, telekinesis, the ability to control physical things around you, pick it up, that's essentially what a Jedi does when it raises rocks over there on Dagobah or anything like that. You're using the Force to be able to levitate a rock or levitate a pencil, bend a spoon, whatever the hell it is. But telepathy, that's the ability to send and receive communications via nothing but your mind. Unspoken communication. And I just wonder what that is going to do once fully capable physical specimens, people who are not paralyzed, are going to be able to start. Can you imagine going into a casino? What happens when people start putting these chips in their brains, low key, and then going into a casino? Going into a casino to start playing some games together. I wonder seriously, there's a lot that could be done here. What's going to happen when the blackjack dealer, all you got to do is get a couple of dealers on the take. There's so much here. If that actually gets to the point where you are actually going to, by way of some kind of chip or whatever, you're able to broadcast to other people things without being able to say them in a verbal sense. And I wonder if that would be able to be received by people, whether they have a chip or not. It's going to be done. It's going to be tried, because we've heard a lot about those experiments already happening. But now this is just like talk about what the mind is capable of, implanting memories, being able to send memories across a distance from one brain to another. Once you start putting on training wheels, which is these chips, the robotics inside of your skull, what can be possible? That's usually something that took a lot of training over many years. All right, here's something else here. Here's a little bit of a quote from the CFO of SiriusXM, Tom Berry. Right now, we are a little concerned. SiriusXM crashes 8.6% as ad sales collapse, layoffs, and subscriber losses shake investors. SiriusXM just took an 8.6% hit at 1 p.m. today after CFO Tom Berry waved a red flag at Deutsche Bank's media conference. He pointed to a recent pullback in ad spending, specifically in consumer packaged goods and retail, with softness spreading into other sectors. Right now, we're a little concerned, Barry admitted, signaling potential trouble ahead in the company's ad sales, given that advertising brought in $1.8 billion last year, roughly 20% of SiriusXM's revenue. This dip isn't just a blip, it's a warning sign. The company is already in cost-cutting mode, rolling out another round of layoffs, primarily in product and tech. No headcount numbers were disclosed, but it follows the 100 job cuts from January, reinforcing that SiriusXM is still in restructuring mode post-spinoff from Liberty Media. Meanwhile, subscriber numbers aren't looking great either. Despite 33 million paying customers, the company lost a net of 296,000 subscribers in 2024. And that $9.99 a month streaming app they pushed, that initiative quietly took a backseat after failing to gain traction. I have a streaming package with them for a long time because I don't have any more receiver. I used to have a receiver when I got it back in 2005. Then there was time I spent away from it. And then when I started leasing Nissans, I don't do anymore. But in college, when I started building up my own credit, that was how I did it. I started leasing cars on my own. My mother co-signed for me on the first one. And then after that, I was able to just do it myself. It's a great way for kids to build credit. But all of those cars came with SiriusXM. So I was back in business. And then when I got rid of it, I didn't want to go back into, buying the actual modules and having to put them in there physically. So that's when I saw that they came up with the streaming packages, which was great because you get all the different music. I don't listen to Howard Stern anymore. I haven't for a very, very long time. That's why I got it in 2005. But, and we already did a segment on Howard Stern last year at some point because there was more coming out of SiriusXM about. We wondered where the hell are they actually, where is there any value for the advertisers there? Who's actually listening to Howard Stern? And what was many millions of people back when it was AM, FM for him. I know we came up with some pretty paltry numbers based on those who, worked close to the show and all that other stuff that were posting on Reddit. And we did that last year. I forget when it was, but this makes a lot of sense to me, especially with him too. Every re-sign, every time they re-sign him, it's just an albatross. Just not, it's not a product that anybody really wants, So I have the streaming services still, but you have this waterlogged boomer woke Stern show still on there, and every extension has just been nuts. I can't imagine he has really. Who wants to listen to 10,000 Jimmy Kimmel interviews? Lady Gaga interviews. Who wants to listen to that constantly? Or his agoraphobic vaccine tirades? I don't know. But, I think everybody's trying to figure out how the hell they're going to make amends or make ends meet these days. Same thing's going on with Rumble. I don't get any Rumble ads because I have to pay for Rumble Premium in order to have streaming as much as I do. So I pay like $100 a month there. I write it off, of course. But same thing with YouTube Premium. I don't know how bad the ads are for people who don't pay for it. But this is what people are doing. And when you talk, it's one thing to have just a platform on the internet. You just type in the URL, you're there. But it's another thing when it's SiriusXM, and you can't listen to that for free. So it's a little bit more. We'll see what happens because I like the idea of satellite radio. I really love that idea. And I used to be so obsessed with having a show somewhere on SiriusXM, being syndicated on SiriusXM because it's so easy to do. I mean, the uplink and all that stuff. I'd probably just have to have a third party. I always loved the idea of having that and being able to get covered anywhere in the United States and not having to worry about certain, being out of range of a certain affiliate or anything like that. I love the idea. In fact, back in the day, became, pretty good acquaintance of Liz Aiello. And I think she does a lot of work, or did a lot of work, on Sirius XM Patriot. I always used to hear Andrew Wilkow shout her out. I met Liz through a friend of mine, and her husband, Tony Aiello, actually did work for CBS or ABC. He was a reporter. He was one of the first people to show up at the studio to interview Anthony when he went viral in 2014. And Liz helped set up not only Howard Stern, Howard 100 and Howard 101, but she set up Martha Stewart Living as well. And then they brought her in to do Sirius XM Patriot with like David Webb and everybody. So I wonder if she's still there. Andrew Wilkow used to call her Sergeant Liz. And I should email her, see how she's been doing. Anyway, so that's just a little something out of the radio biz. But on the satellite side of things, Sirius is having some problems. All right. And, before we get started, I want to announce the winner. Our monthly sponsor giveaway. The winner of the giveaway is Nathan Watkins. Lauren and Aurora drew a name today from all of our monthly sponsors. So Nathan is going to receive a bag of Quite Frankly Elevation Blend coffee, a bag of chocolate-covered espresso beans from Coffee Revolution, and an ounce of silver from QuiteFrankly.gold. That's Tony Arterburn. So we will have another winner announced soon. I think that Molly from Keto Brainz is going to call in to announce that name, possibly on Friday or maybe next Wednesday, to spread it out a little bit. So this is another reason to become a monthly sponsor. You are automatically entered into these quarterly giveaways, and I love them. So there's going to be more silver in the next one, and there's going to be a bag of Keto Brains, and that's that. Let's get this one started. It's going to be a fun night, but a little bit of news up front. So don't go anywhere, my friends.
What do you think?
Whoa, very nice.
It's very cool, Bateman, but that's nothing. What do you think? Nice.
But wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. White.
Impressive. Very nice. Let's see Paul Allen's. Oh my God.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Hit that jive jack, put it in pocket till I get back. Going downtown to see a man, and I ain't got time.
Shake your hand.
Hit that jive jack, put it in pocket till I get back.
Okay.
Time and time waits for
So tell me something. Welcome to the show, by the way. So good to have you here. It is Hump Day. If you want to contribute your thoughts, opinions, shout-outs, or jokes of the show, please send them to QuiteFranklySuperChat.com. Because actually, or the Rumble Rants, or the Gold Pills on QuiteFrankly.tv, all of that is not only going toward the efforts that we are shouldering through on a normal basis out of all the love and the excitement of what this future is going to bring, but we have a little bit of just small amount of legal expenses to get through right now, and it would be wonderful to have just some a little bit of support through that. So thank you guys. Become a part of the show through the super chats, QuiteFranklySuperChat.com. And also like the show, share the show, and leave a comment after the show is over. It's great that you're talking in the live chat, but the comment section afterwards, that is the algorithm tickler. That's the algorithm tickler. Tickle the algorithm. All right? So let's just go to something that I'm sure you might have, maybe some of you have seen. I'm guaranteed that some of you had seen this. I saw first from Gateway Pundit, and then people like Nick Sorter got on there and articulated it just as well in a few shorter sentences. Here it is. Gateway Pundit, former Las Vegas officer who led Route 91 shooting investigation and Maui police chief during the Haina fires, named as co-defendant in Sean Diddy Combs' sexual assault lawsuit. This guy, these people, they're all over the place. They are shuffled around as if the Vatican is doing it. On October 1st, 2017, shots rang out all over Las Vegas Strip. Concert goers at Route 91 Harvest Music Festival that day fled to safety. In the aftermath of the tragic shooting, 59 people were killed and over 500 injured during the chaos that erupted from above on a country music gathering. Something that we still don't know, and we're told outright by the FBI, you will never know what this was. Much like what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. We said they're going to say you never know. John Pelletier, then a captain with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, was the incident commander tasked with managing the extensive crime scene, one of the largest in the country's history outside of the September 11, 2001 attack. After an incredibly controversial investigation, it was determined that Stephen Paddock, 64 years old, was the lone gunman who opened fire on a crowd from the Mandalay Bay Hotel positioned adjacent to and above the music venue. The assessment was woefully inadequate, seemingly omitting hordes of evidence, including 911 calls and evidence that suggests that multiple shooters and suspicious circumstances regarding aircraft overhead before and after the events. Several helicopters began hovering over the event 10 to 15 minutes prior to the shooting before turning off their transponders, while another helicopter appeared on radar as a Southwest Airlines commuter jet. Cloaked? Oh, forget about all the bombing, all the explosives that were in the car. Vegas local Mindy Robinson put together an incredible documentary exposing the inadequacies of the investigation. You can view that documentary there. It's linked in the description in the episode. In the article. Following the events in Las Vegas, Pelletier moved to Maui, Hawaii, and was named police chief on December 15, 2021. Again, tragedy would find Pelletier as he was the head law enforcement officer during the August 8th, 2023 Lahaina fire, which claimed 102 lives officially. That's the official toll. Once again, numerous claims of mismanagement arose following the fire. They included a lack of planning, ineffective or unavailable advanced warning systems, and potential evacuation routes blocked by debris, and in many cases, police officers. While he remained as the Maui police chief following the Lahaina fire, there are now calls for him to be placed on administrative leave, including from the Maui mayor. The calls for administrative leave are in conjunction with him being named as a co-defendant in a federal lawsuit levied against disgraced hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Trouble certainly seems to follow this man wherever he may go. The lawsuit was originally filed in October of 2021 by Ashley Parham, along with an anonymous man and woman. On March 7th, that complaint was amended to include Chief Pelletier, as well as many other notable figures, including former NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, man. The Giants? And singer Jacqueline Jaguar Wright and Keith Lux, a.k.a. Big Homie C, among others. Okay? So, that's incredible. Incredible so far. The following are claims from the complaint filed in federal court, and all defendants are afforded the presumption of innocence. Maui Police Chief John Pelletier, named in Diddy lawsuit, is accused of being a co-conspirator. This is all this from by way of Colin Rugg. The allegations regarding Pelletier stem from 2018, when he was hired to provide security for Combs. According to the complaint, one of the co-defendants, Shane Pierce, invited the plaintiff, Ashley Parham, to his house on March 23rd, 2018, following an altercation that he intervened in at a bar a month prior. So here's the thing. you got a guy, obviously, keeps finding himself in the middle of some big events. And also, you think about a city like Las Vegas in itself. I mean, there's just so much that goes on over there, and has long since been a place where people are brought to entertain and pamper any kind of a target, whether it's just someone you want to strike up a business deal with, a legitimate deal, show them a good time on the town, or if you want to find somebody in a compromising position to make sure that they can never say no to you again. There's also that. So it's another one of those things where people just like, oh, another familiar face, another familiar name. And what luck? Is it luck? This is from Nick Sorter. Maui Police Chief John Pelletier, who gave the order to trap victims in Lahaina fire, has now been named as a co-conspirator in the Diddy case. Pelletier also happened to be the incident commander during Las Vegas. He forcibly took a Diddy victim at gunpoint from Vegas to California to be raped by Diddy by posing as a sheriff executing a fake warrant, according to the suit. Imagine that. That's what's in there. He took a victim at gunpoint from Vegas to California to be assaulted by Diddy by posing as a sheriff executing a fake warrant. Even after these incidents occurred, Pelletier was still named chief of Maui Police, and the devastating fires happened shortly afterwards. Many questions have loomed as to whether or not children went missing after the fire, where entire families disappeared without a trace. Like I said, the 102, the little bit over 100 people, that is an official death toll. That's all that has been published. It's just one of those things. You live through it. We were getting as much information as we could from people on the ground, and then just by the natural passage of time, it goes away. Other things fill the void. It doesn't mean that people are not still dealing with it, that people are not still picking up the pieces out there in Lahaina. And it's going to be an unsolved mystery for a long time. It's a string of unsolved mysteries. That's just what it is. Something happens, a narrative pops up in its place. People argue over what kind of legislation or who should bear the brunt of the responsibility or the greatest impact of whatever the narrative is. But nobody's actually trying to solve the crime. That's it. Butler, Las Vegas, Lahaina. It continues. All the hurricanes that made landfall on the East Coast. Many questions have loomed as to whether or not children were missing. The government disputes the claims. They have not been verified. The story goes much deeper than what we already know. So that's what we had on there today. And outside of that, you know, thinking about last night and how it's going to lead into tomorrow night's show, we're theorizing at least a little bit off air. I know that the work has been getting done in the Discord and the Gilded. There's a lot of sleuthing that goes on in there as well. And, you know, that terrible news about, what's his name, James White from InfoWars. And then we all woke up to the news, or at least it's being reported on by Alex Jones himself, that he had word from General Flynn, Mike Flynn. He was warned that there was a high-level sources that say that there is a contract out for Alex Jones, and it's tied to Ukraine. A contract for his head. A kill list. Now, I don't know, and I know that there's always been people who take Alex Jones with a grain of salt, and I know that there's a growing number of people who actually don't trust General Flynn as well these days. But this is one of those things we're going to talk about a little bit more tomorrow, as it just the hits just keep on coming. It just never stops. It seriously never stops. So that's what we have with that. If there's anything else, of course, you can call in later on tonight, but we are going to take a break now to start the show back up and kick off the main topic of tonight. Okay? So let's do it. What's the most meaningful jobs you have ever worked? I think this is going to be a great one. Back in a second.
Yo, I was walking down this trail and I think I found it. No fucking way, bro. It's a wallet. Oh my god.
Dude, we're gonna be fucking rich, bro. We're gonna have it all. This is the type of shit that happens in the fucking movies, bro. We're gonna have planes, jets, fucking girls, bro. They're gonna be all over us, bro. We're gonna be like fucking Mr. Beast, bro.
I love you, brother.
I love
I'll
you
see
too.
you soon.
I'll see you. I'll see you this weekend, as a matter of fact. Have a good one. I'll see you. I love you as well. I was calling you. I'm like, you okay? What's going on with you? You know I love you. Give me a call.
And I was like, who's this? I love you, Don.
I love you too. I'll see you soon.
I love you, Don.
I love you as well. I'll talk to you later. Can we tell people what we did for Juneteenth?
Yes.
Remember that I danced with you on Juneteenth. I thought that was funny. I thought you would laugh. You
I
didn't.
thought it was beautiful. I loved
whatever.
being with you. I love you, D. Lemon.
Love you more.
Why are you gay?
I hear something saying,
Okay. Are you ready? So, listen, we got this, I got this wonderful email about I don't know how long ago it was. Maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. It's before the holidays. And it came from Kenny. Kenny wrote into me, he said, "Hey Frank, I stumbled upon this video of a man who cleans the pools at the World Trade Center Memorial every night, and it hit me pretty hard. I'd figure I'd pass it your way." And I watched it. And I said to myself, oh yeah, there's something to this. It's only 3.5 minutes long, and I want to enjoy it with you for a second. And then we're going to expand this out to all of our lives and just start opening up the lines. Okay? So here's what we got. Take a listen to this. This is called A Look into the Nightly Cleaning of 9/11 Memorial Reflecting Pools. Okay, here we have it.
The first time I went in the pool, I would think it's about 8, 9 years ago. When I got in there, I was like, wow, this is just amazing to see from ground level how vast it really is. My name is Jim Maroon, and I work at the 9/11 Memorial, and I'm a pool cleaner. Me and 2 other workers every night clean the pools, put a vacuum and brush, and try to keep them as spectacular as we can. We clean the pools 5 nights a week. We work at night from midnight to 8 in the morning. It's a long 8 hours, but it's worth it. My father's worked down here pretty much his whole adult life. He was at the boat towers and a couple of the other buildings too. So I've spent most of my life down here. So this was a great opportunity to try to give back. To take care of this place is very, very important. I was here on 9/11. I worked at the New York Mercantile Exchange, and on the morning of 9/11, I was walking through the building to get to my building when the first plane went right overhead. And I honestly didn't think much of it. When I got to work, the next plane hit, and the rest is history. Bad history, but we're trying to make it better every day here. When I'm cleaning the pool, I think most of the time I'm thinking, did I do this well? Because I don't want to come out of that pool 8 hours later and somebody saying, wow, that pool looks bad, you know, and then I would feel bad. But luckily, we do it well pretty much every night. It gets dark in there sometimes, and you lose yourself in there, but it's pretty beautiful to see that sun come over the wall. It's something most people don't get a chance to see.
That's directed by Joshua Caro. Joshua Caro, Charow, and it's right on his YouTube channel, Joshua Caro or Charo. I don't know. Either way, that was something I said, "Whoa, that is deep. That is deep." You know, it's just like when it comes to September 11th in particular. Whenever that rolls around, it's always the things like the boat lift stories about every little, ferry captain and every little fisherman, whatever, in the area that came to help people. We can get tied up into what happened to the towers, who was involved, who wasn't involved, what smoke and mirrors, what the plot was, where it all led. But often in all of that stuff, we lose a lot of the human stories and all of that. People who were involved in rescue efforts, the dogs, the animals who were involved in rescue efforts. Man, the dogs of 9/11, that's some emotional stuff there too. And then you think about little guys, little people, like this man right here, James Maroon. One of the few people whose job it is to spend 8 hours a night, 5 days a week at the bottom of the 9/11 memorial, making sure that it looks perfect for the following day's visitors. It's an emotional thing, and it's a job that I'm sure compensates him adequately, especially for those graveyard shift hours there. But obviously, it's bigger than that. It's all bigger than that. And I said, all right, well, what are we going to do with this show? What are we going to do with this show? And you know, the thing that really got me, where the hell is it? Let me go back to that again. There's a couple of comments in there. One of the top comments, someone named Kenzel says, there are so many people in this world doing jobs in the shadows, taking pride in their work because it just means so much to them. This is one of those instances. Thank you for what you do. This is extremely profound. I said, I've got to turn that loose on the audience. I've got to turn that sentiment loose on the audience. And I wanted to know, let me see. Here's another one. Absolutely, you are a person behind the scenes. We don't get to see you. We for sure see how you keep the pool so beautifully. What you do is very emotionally touching to all of us. And that's just one man and his job. So I asked the question, most meaningful jobs that you ever worked. Have you ever had a job that meant far more to you than even the compensation? Are you in that job now? Please comment about it. Let me know. Now, I'm going to be taking your calls on this. I'm going to leave the lines open. These are the calls I want to take. Please leave Democrats versus Republicans and vice versa and everything else out just for a little bit and entertain me on this. I'll have to move on as politely as possible because I don't want to muddy the waters. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. 914-200-0269. That's what we'll have. I don't know, maybe a little bit along the way, who knows what happens, but this is really what I want to concentrate on. And we're going to start with a little something from Biden's diaper. On the Quite Frankly forum, said, I had a job after high school as a race car mechanic and on a national racing team. It didn't pay well, but I was able to get paid to travel to pretty much every state in the country. The only thing I had to pay for was food, drinks, cell phone, and entertainment on off days. It was before I bought my house, so I really had no worries. It was such a learning experience that you couldn't really put any kind of monetary value on it. A lot of the places we went to weren't on any top places to travel lists. In fact, there were some terrifying cities and towns. Often we would find ourselves working on the car at 2 a.m. in the morning in a parking lot in an abandoned building in some of the worst places you can think of. But I learned how to navigate these things without getting into too much trouble, and that stuck with me and kept me confident and safe when traveling for many, many years. I knew it wasn't going to provide the life I ultimately wanted, but looking back on it now, I'm so thankful that I did it when I was able to, and there's still some days part of me wishes I could go back. Let's take a call. 219, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Frank, this is John.
John, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm always glad to and proud that you take my calls. The best job that I've ever done, I've lived my life being a servant and, you know, got paid for it in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but I've never paid you money. I've never. I'm the tightest wad that's ever watched your show. You've never seen a cent from me. But I've been a servant to you. And there's a billion other people that are doing the same thing for other people that are saying the things that they can't, like, put a megaphone to. You put a megaphone to the things that I think I want to yell at the world, you know, like in Horton Hears the Who, yop. I want to say things, and you're saying the things, and I'm doing what I can, you know, not to promote you, because I don't do social media. You've never seen me on X. You've never seen me on Instagram. I'm nowhere. I'm just a guy. But we are simple people trying to support ideas. And my best job right now, I'm retired and I'm a farmer and I'm doing the best for my community right now. But for being a job, it makes sense for me to be here. I'm a mod on your Rumble, and I'm a mod on your Foxhole Pilled, and I'm a mod on your Kick, and I'm trying to be a gentleman. I'm not always that, you know, I ain't king, but, you know, I'm trying to be a good boy.
You just opened up a can of worms there.
Yeah, well, I'm a troll. You know, I was born a troll and I showed up a troll. Right after you and the old girl got married, I showed up in your life. And
well, John, I appreciate what you're saying, and you know what? There, like I was describing this in several posts and all that stuff about, you know, where we find purpose in hobbies or any kind of task, or whether it's a job, like it's, you know, like a farmer or whatever it is. And I appreciate you, I really do, and thank you for the call. Is there anything else you want to say real quick? Because I have some remarks I can add on to that while we take another call.
The only reason that I call in is so that I can give you something to riff on, because, you know, I'm just, you know, like a lot of the people that call you and listen to you, we are just like, we think about ideas, but you have a unique way of putting them into context of reality. You're a very strong entity for a lot of people, and I feel good serving you as a very important job.
Well,
we love you, Frank.
Well, thank you, John, and I appreciate your volunteer work as the mod, and I appreciate the friendship that you've offered me and the show over the years, and you're always been very complimentary, even to a point where it sometimes embarrasses me. I'm not very good with taking compliments and praise, but I do appreciate it. I genuinely do. And you could say, well, Frank, is this show your thing? It certainly is. It certainly is. You know, I'm able to support a family with it, but this has been before I was able to pay even a phone bill with this, with what I make on this show. There was 10 or 12 years of every night getting on the air and talking to almost nobody. And the people who I was talking to, I loved, but I had most of them on speed dial. You know, it's like now, and it was just, I don't know. So, you know, doing things without any real faith of getting something back and whatever, and what is it going to do for the greater good? I don't know. That is where the Little League comes in for me. We'll talk about Little League in a little bit, because it was the coaching baseball for kids here in town for 16 years. Never thinking about getting paid for anything. I think I got compensated for gas once or twice when we went to, you know, travel tournaments to Rehoboth or, you know, Massachusetts or Maryland or something like that. But outside of gas, you're just, it's something bigger than that. Let's take a call. 407. Doctor, is that you?
Hi. I'm not a doctor.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you have a doctor in your family?
Well, I'm actually working on my PhD, so I guess, you know, it's coming a little prematurely, but at some point I hope to hold that credentialing.
So you don't know a Dr. Alfred?
Oh, that's my father.
Oh, okay. Well, hello, doctor. Anyway, anyway, it's good to hear from you. What's your name?
My name is Alexandra. I'm actually AJT the third. So my dad's Alfred. I'm Alexandra.
Wonderful. Good to have you on. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, well, I called. This is my second time calling your show. I listen to you every night. The last time I called, it was for people who have weird fears, and mine was
the toilet. The toilet.
Yes.
You came up. Alex, you came up. I forgot who you came when you came up. One of my family members brought you up around Christmas time. I don't know what it was. So, but yeah. Oh, I remember the warm toilet. The fear. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Well, so my two jobs that I actually hold right now, I'm a licensed mental health counselor and a real estate agent. And you think that those are two drastically different things, but I would say that my counseling skills come in handy when you're dealing with, you know, real estate, because buying and selling process is one of the most stressful processes that anyone will ever endure in their life outside of divorce and death and moving, right? So in any event, though, I would say my counseling is a very meaningful profession to have. You know, I humbly appreciate my clients who trust me with their deepest and darkest secrets. You know, it's humbling to hear people call, and I have, you know, many clients who have told me that they're thinking of divorcing their spouse, trouble with their children that they just can't, you know, come to grips with. And so, you know, that job, and a lot of people say that counseling and therapy is kind of a woo-woo practice, or, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of like negative connotations around that. And I would be the first to admit that a lot of the schooling and the education around it is very far left leaning at this point. Like indoctrination camps to some extent. But there are a handful of good therapists out there that try to look beyond the diagnosis and not just look at people as their diagnosis.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I think I'm glad you're representing the profession tonight when you call in on that, because yes, that is something I've even, you know, I've shared thoughts like that about the whole thing, but I don't ever deny that outside the fact that it is, psychotherapy has in many ways become the priest class of the progressive political paradigm in this, you know, whereas I'll go seek counsel sometimes from a, you know, from in confession or something like that. This is what you would get from in the more atheistic progressive sphere, you know, think tank. There you have the psychiatrists are essentially the priests for many of them, and then there's of course the drug aspect of things. There's the pharmaceutical aspect of things, but and we know how that stuff has taken center stage, and it probably has been more so overly expressed in a very biased way than any other thing. That being said, as to what shape it is in right now, there is no telling how valuable and how important having a truly unbiased person to speak to who may actually really care and does not bring any of their shit, any of their own baggage into a conversation, into a confidential conversation. That can be life-saving. I'm never, ever going. So for the people out there who are doing that for other people without becoming, you know, a booster club for one local campaign or another, which I actually know some friends who have been in therapy have told me that some of their therapists have actually told them, brought into their conversations, the campaign work that they're doing for local local politicians and stuff. So you know who you're talking to. There's, you know, so I appreciate people like you who lead with a neutral foot forward and really just try to be a support system for people who may not have that elsewhere. It totally is. It's one of the more life-saving things a person can have is a conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes for somebody to take, step off of the brink of suicide, and having those thoughts is just having someone to talk to and a safe place to go to express their thoughts and, feelings or whatnot. But, there is a cadence to that personal transference that you bring into a session with your clients, right? There's an air in which you want to seem relatable, right? But the session cannot become about you and your own mantras and personal endeavors. So, yeah.
Well, Alex, I'm really happy you got through tonight, and thank you so much,
Thank you.
and all the best to your father too.
Okay, well, thank you. Have a good night, Frank.
Have a good one. Take care. Let's go back to our thread. One more of these from Kenny in Cleveland. Kenny said, in my mid-20s, I worked at a car dealership as a porter, doing all kinds of random things in the service department, mostly getting cars in and out of the shop, finding cars on the lot, doing car washes, and dropping and picking up cars from our body shop, the airport, customers' houses, and companies that we had service contracts with. I was blessed to drive so many cars that I'd never been able to afford. Learned an incredible amount about vehicles and the auto industry itself. I learned how to drive stick and met some truly salt-of-the-earth people and having amazing conversations with people from all walks of life. Obviously, you run into the dregs of society in any service industry, but the truly good people cancel out all the assholes. That job really taught me the value of going the extra mile and how to control my temper because, in truth, I worked with a lot of lazy asses. But what made truly lasting impact on me was my boss. He was the service director for all 5 local dealerships. The body shop was one dealership in Florida. The man was completely selfless and overly dedicated to his team. He stretched himself thin to provide for his family and always made time for any employee who needed him. He covered for me when I made mistakes and always helped me when I needed it. I was lucky enough to spend many hours in the car with him. Sometimes it was just the two of us talking and listening to sports talk radio. After about 5 years in my position, I presented him with the idea of managing my department, a position that didn't exist, and he told me he'd get back to me in a week. When the time came, he told me he didn't think it was time for that, and I put my 2 weeks in. I think that was his way of letting me know he wanted me to move on to something better. 6 years later, I'm supervising a team of 6 people at a rapidly growing company. I credit him for making me a leader. Unfortunately, he passed away just over 2 years ago from cancer. He never stopped working. His funeral felt like a funeral for a family member and was packed with people he impacted greatly. I formed a lifelong friendships with people from that dealership and still get my car serviced there to this day and probably always will, and I still have the car wash code. It's nice to be able to walk into a place you formerly worked at and be greeted with a smile. It's a testament to treating people right and never burning bridges, and that's something I've tried to instill in the guys that I have working with me now, should they decide to move on to something better. Now, I really wish I could jump into a Z06 Corvette and take it up to the gas station right about now. Yeah, well, hey, take anything down there. Take a Corolla down there if it's that nice a place. That's a great story. That's a great story. And remember, guys, it doesn't have to be like I was the 9/11 pool cleaner. It's what was a job that meant more than the compensation at the time even. You know? That's a big one. 413, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. Grady from Massachusetts.
Hello, Grady. Good to have you back on.
Oh, thank you. I was thinking about your thread, and to me, it's not so much about a meaningful job as finding meaning in a job. I've done a lot of different things, like waiting tables, a baker, a bookseller, bakery manager. One time, as a waiter, we had this older couple come in like once a month. My very old couple. Well, I was in my 20s, so I know I thought of an angel. It may have been 80s or 90s. She had Alzheimer's or something. They obviously very much in love. They ordered something really cheap on the menu. This is a semi-fancy restaurant. Tips fairly well, considering they're obviously not well off at all. Just a very sweet couple. One night, they had their meal. Everything was very nice. And they kind of said goodbye. A couple of days later, I learned they had gone off the road and died.
Wait. I'm sorry. They went off road.
They went off the road, going home.
Okay.
Leaving the restaurant.
Oh man.
And both died. I realized I served them the last meal.
Oh.
I was like, I think I made a good experience for them. I hope I did. Another occasion with a baker making a cake for someone's grandfather who was not long for the world. And she wanted he loved lighthouses.
Mm-hmm.
And I put everything into making a painting-like cake for her of a lighthouse. And she loved it, and he loved it. It was like his last birthday cake. As a bookseller, finding a perfect book for somebody, even if they didn't know exactly what name of the book or anything about it, but they knew a book existed and being able to find it for them. Bakery manager, woman comes in 10 minutes to 6 on Christmas Eve. We're closing at 6. She's desperate for a fruit cake. Her father's probably, I guess, last Christmas. Finding her last fruit cake in the store. Little things like that. Just helping people who need that little extra can bring a lot of meaning to any job.
Wow, Grady. Yeah, you hit it on the head, in the center of the head. You really thank you so much for that. That's very, very well said, very powerful. Because I felt a lot of that too. You know, I got a story for you. I don't know. It's actually it's in my wallet right now. I have it with me all the time. I worked at the pharmacy. Anybody who read the bulletin from February, they learned a little bit about the way that Lauren and I met at the pharmacy that I worked at throughout high school and college and all that stuff. Well, a lot of things happened at that pharmacy, not just me meeting my wife, the love of my life, but there was a lot of people that came through that pharmacy that I really had a lot of respect for, and I tried learning from, and I tried going above and beyond for. And there was this one guy. His name is Derek, and I don't know if Derek was injured in some way, but he was mentally incapacitated. He was physically all right. He would run errands for his family. He'd come over to he'd cross the street, come to the pharmacy, buy things for his family, a roll of paper towels, this and just whatever. Just they give him something to do, and he gladly did it. He was always so nice, but he was. I don't know if he was like severely autistic or something, or if it was a brain injury. I don't know. But he would come in, and somebody like him, it sometimes could be a little uncomfortable for people to help them out, especially when they can't control the volume of their voice when they talk and all that stuff. But I always just loved giving him a hand, and we became friends, and he'd seek me out all the time. He must have been about maybe 5 to 7 years older than me when I was in high school, but he would always, hey Frank, and we would talk, and whatever he needed I'd go grab for him. And one of the last times I saw him, because they closed down the pharmacy in 2006, he insisted on giving me a tip. He gave me $1. And of course, to Derek, this $1 was, I mean, that's probably so much.
A lot.
A lot. And I have the $1 on me, and I keep it with me.
Oh.
Right here. And what I actually did was I actually wrote a few extra zeros onto the dollar to keep almost like a vision board in my wallet at all times. That's something that's what it is. The dollar means more, and this is from Derek. It's actually been a while since I took it out. You know what the crazy thing is, Grady? This dollar is still very crisp, but I've had it in my pocket for over 20 years now, and I haven't seen him in a very long time. But this was the tip that he gave me, and it's very, very special to me. Just $1.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
to your point, these things happen anywhere. If you open yourself up to it, they can happen anywhere. And I thank you for the call. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care now.
Take care.
Oh, by the way, hate the show.
Oh, I hate that. Me too. I hate it because look what we're doing right now. This is just kills me. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue more of this because this is what we were supposed to be doing tonight. No doubt about it. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Intermission. Yeah, intermission.
Evil, I just misunderstood.
Guys and gals, so we have a little bit more coming up. What the hell? A little bit more. Let's see. Oh wait, first things first. Let me make sure I'm set up for our next break because we gotta take. I wanted to add in some more funny videos tonight. I wanted to keep things kind of light and nice. Captain Flint over here on the official thread for the topic at hand tonight. Captain Flint says, I'm currently a master scenic carpenter and have been working in professional theater for around 25 years. Typical starving actor, but able to make ends meet as a waiter and a bartender. Started getting paid. Always had interest in tech and construction. Finally went to college for theater of fine arts. As well as remaining a professional actor, became a director, tech director, lighting tech, and now a master carpenter for a prestigious private school. I love it. Not making a killing, but my son can go to school with me in the morning, and my wife has become a sugar mama. Life's good. Well, damn, man. Good for you. Good for Captain Flint. Here's that guy. That guy said, I had a really good job that I loved until the March massacre. 21 people in one day walked out the door for a cost-cutting restructure. I applied for my old job at least 4 times, although the severance agreement said that This company or any of the affiliated companies were not required to accept our applications. They actually sent me an email. Well, I'm sorry about that. Did that job for 14 years. Training 3 of my future managers. That's, you know, how the job leaves you or how you leave the job is always, I guess, the one of the things that could make it bitter or sweet. You know, you look back on it. One Jazzy Jen. We're going to get around to that in a second. Let's take another call. 828, you're on the air. Go ahead. What's up?
Right.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, cool, Frank. This is Mike from North Carolina.
Not Mike from North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm glad I got through. I've been a little thing at first. I've been playing t-ball this year. I got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and man, that's the coolest thing on earth. I could see how being a little league coach would be one of the most rewarding things. You got to have some dedication to deal with a bunch of little kids running around.
Oh. Well, listen. I did 12U. Okay. If need be, I would do, I could do 10U. That's usually like 8, 9, 10. But Aurora, I'm going to be on the sidelines just watching Aurora for quite a few years because I would never do T-ball. I can't do babysitting. Because at this point, I know it's not going to resemble. I know that the bases will be put in a diamond shape, but it's not going to resemble a lot of baseball otherwise.
It's actually doing really good. I've got one that's in 5, 6-year-old T-ball, and then I got one that's in 7, 8-year-old coach pitch. And, what's crazy about it is, man, I've spent probably $1,300 on equipment. It's so crazy how much stuff they have to have now. When I was young, it was $20, and if you were good, your parents bought you a bat. You know, but anyhow, I want to do the job thing, man. I had started a job. I'm a landscaper, and I went by a cemetery, and I seen a job said now hiring for landscaping. This was about 3 years before COVID, and I just got a job there to mow and do landscaping. Well, they told me that I would have to help the crematory and have to help around the cemetery and stuff. Well, after 2 years, I was doing funerals. I got moved into an undertaker position, and man, I'd do that job for free, Frank. I mean, the experiences you have and the respect people give you that you give them putting their family member in the ground. I mean, you do it for kids, you do it for old people. Those people are really vulnerable at that time in their life. And you making sure everything is right means so much. Even though it's little things, you making sure everything goes right means so much to those people on that day. And I never thought in a million years getting a job there mowing would end up being probably one of the most rewarding jobs of my life.
So when you got a job, was this particular landscaping company contracted with local cemeteries? Is that what happened?
No, it was the cemetery had their own landscaping crews and their own, and the landscapers would help set up the tents, and I'd help the crematory if there's somebody that's too big. I'd help. It was cool, and the more that you were willing to do, the more they let you do. You know what I'm saying? And it just moved into an undertaker position, and it's just, man, I'm telling you that right there, you wouldn't think so, but it's one of the most rewarding jobs as you could ever imagine.
So you were actually opening graves for people.
Yeah, and closing them, and and putting people in like vaults and stuff like that, and doing urn stuff. I mean, and I mowed in the evenings and when I didn't have anything to do. But man, just and the only reason that happened was because we got short staffed. And I just had to help, and I loved it, dude. I never in a million years thought that I would like that, but man, it's crazy. Let me let you get another caller going on. Thanks, Frank. Have a good day, man.
Well, I appreciate this, and I'll tell you, I can see that 100%. Now, I've never been asked to, in any official capacity, work a funeral to open up a grave or close one up or anything like that. But I can see that, especially. It's a very somber event, but there's also, there's something therapeutic, and there's something very positive about the whole thing that you can take away from it as far as respecting and valuing life. And you keep a lot of perspective on how quickly we're all moving through this world, and how, we were all 7, 8 years old swinging at the tee at T-ball just last year. And now we're the ones bringing our kids to the games, and we all know where that leads eventually. But, the whole thing there, too, is I spend so much time, especially in the spring, the summer, and then the early fall. In the wintertime, I don't go to the cemeteries too much. But I spent a lot of time at the cemetery in which my grandparents, my mother's parents, were buried, because it's absolutely gorgeous. The vegetation there. There's a river that runs through it. There are so many old sections. It's so peaceful, so quiet, that if I were told that I was going to be part of a landscaping crew there, just whether it be weed whacking or anything else, I planting things, I can see that it would be a place of absolute solace. And
you set stones, and man, what's crazy about it is every one of them stones has a story. Every one of them stones has a family. It's crazy. I mean, you know, you see kids. I had a little girl who's 18. Her dad got killed on a motorcycle. She'd come down there and sit. I mean, every one of those stones has a story. And when you have people walk up to you and say, "Can I hug you and tell you thank you after a funeral?" Dude, you do it for free. I promise you, man.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. Great call. Yeah. That is, I can see it. Wendy Mahoney. Wendy Mahoney says, being a mother to our 5 children, all adult now, best job I ever had. Also the hardest job that continues today. Once a mother, always a worry. You are only as happy as your saddest child. I'm sure a lot of people vibe with that, Wendy. No doubt. Let's take a call from Michael. Is that you?
Sorry, this is Christina.
I'm sorry, Christina. Go ahead. You know, I wish that I could I can trust this caller ID, but I just can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. But thank you so much for what you do on that show. I hope that you understand that we find it just as entertaining as hopefully you find it. So thank you so much for that.
Oh.
But what I was about to say is I haven't worked that long. I was a PhD student for a while. I mastered out. But the most rewarding job I had was actually at a biotech startup. And so I don't consider myself that good of a scientist, but I'm very, very good at attention to detail. And this company is trying to develop a diagnostic tool or a diagnostic device to actually it sounds like a whole Elizabeth Holmes scam, but it's not. But it's but what it is it would actually typically in any kind of infection, bacterial infections, particularly for them, you could honestly spread it out to any kind of infection later. But typically that whole process, in order to even diagnose an infection, is about 48 hours. And then you're prescribing the wrong medication. So you're causing all this antibiotic resistance from all these bacteria. But this company that I worked for, they actually had a in vitro diagnostic device that would allow for diagnosis within 4 hours. And in addition to diagnosis and understanding what bacterial infection you actually had, they would also have what's called AST, which is antibody testing as well.
Wow.
So you'd be able not only to diagnose, but also understand how to treat it. Sorry, I'm nervous.
No, listen, I get it. I know nervous breathing when I hear one. So don't don't worry about that. So for people out there that don't remember Elizabeth Holmes, we're talking about the biotech entrepreneur who brought what was it called? Theranos?
Yeah, Theranos, I believe.
It was a special kind. Well, special. There's nothing proprietary about it. It was all fraud. What it came out, and this Theranos biotech scan technology could apparently detect what they said everything, any kind of disease. It doesn't matter whether it was.
Yeah, it was like a drop of blood, and it's like, yeah, right. But
yeah,
it was just basically a miracle that didn't exist, and so I believe she went to jail for that. I'm not totally sure how that all ended up.
But the company that you were with, this was more so focused on bacterial infection.
Correct. I mean, and so the thing is that ultimately you'd be able to expand into like almost any organism as long as you can have the right media for it.
Gotcha.
So as long as you can grow it in the conditions that they have it set, which I'm not allowed to disclose.
Yep.
But I mean, they have a website and it describes everything, but they just take everything down to such a fine level that they're able to see like a single cell that lights up rather than a whole colony that you have to wait to grow on a plate. So then you can actually get all these results that are hopefully within 4 hours, but they're still they haven't gotten the product out quite yet. Unfortunately.
But when it comes to you, and when it comes to your involvement over there, that's just something where being able to be on the inside and help out and observe, to feel like, hey, there's a lot of scams out there that get a lot of attention on Entertainment Tonight, and everybody knows about the greatest con artists of our time and all of the false promises and stuff. But you have been able to see people who have good intentions that are actually working on things that will help humanity down the line. Is that your takeaway?
Yeah, my takeaway is that, but also just the idea that you could literally save, I don't even know how many millions of people have bacterial infections that they end up dying from just because because you don't diagnose it correctly. And so these machines would actually be put into hospitals, and they would be a bedside treatment.
Wow.
Or not treatment, but diagnosis, and ultimately be able to give the doctors some kind of readout to know which medication to give.
I have to imagine
instead of waiting for 48 hours.
And how long ago was this that you were involved with this project?
I was involved with this project March 2021 through December 2023. They laid me off because I kept promoting, but personally, I don't think I'm a great scientist. I just am really good with my hands and attention to detail, and I spent so many hours there. It kind of sucked to get laid off, but they kind of wanted a change of the old guard because they were getting paid too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. So then I guess the last question I have for you is, because it's so recent, 21 to 23, I would have to imagine that artificial intelligence is going to be, or is a big part of this, because not only is the test going to say something, but there has to be some sort of a really advanced diagnostic system that is going to tell a doctor exactly what there is and what pharmaceuticals or what combination of pharmaceuticals needs to be used to be able to combat the infection correctly?
Yeah, it was a lot of machine learning. So actually, I mean, some of the most brilliant computer scientists work at that company because they just imagine being a computer scientist and then shifting all the way to hard science and trying to have to fit that into a program that can actually intelligently spit out results that are reliable.
My gosh. Well, you know what? Thank you for that. I'm sorry about the end result, but if you're passionate and you got this in your resume now, I hope that you find your way back into it, and hopefully the world gets introduced to whatever you got to see behind the scenes, because it sounds like it's going to be a good tool.
It's going to help the whole world. It's going to be amazing if it comes out. I really hope they do. I've been trying to get people, even though I don't work there, to invest in it because they're still in the venture capital phase. They shouldn't be, but they are. So
well,
it's just a lot of moving parts. Yeah.
That again, thanks for the call. And that says something when you're now removed from the company for about 1 to 2 years now. And even though it sucks that you're not involved, you still believe in it so much that you're still telling people, please invest in it, even though they let you go. That says a lot to me, that you're still very, very invested in its success. Well, thank you so much for that. And I hope you have a great night.
Thank you so much. You too.
Okay. There you go. We learned a little something tonight. And I hope that makes it to market. I really do. I really do. I mean, I even remember when Skip was dying with the C. diff and all of the different antibiotics, that the combinations of things, and just I don't know, just rotting from the inside out was just fucking horrible. And that was all, who knows? Who knows? You know, if you've ever been by somebody in a hospital, especially in some very, very dire times, after a while, you almost start questioning whether or not the doctors you're talking to know anything. Are you just flying by the seam of your pants, or what is it? I actually would, somewhere down the line, these AI tools, these diagnostic tools, I don't want an AI doctor per se, but these diagnostic tools, they're going to make me feel actually a lot better about things, because obviously my trust in doctors across the board has plummeted. I mean, I'm always open to meeting new doctors. Oh, you're a doctor? Great. Talk to them. Oh, this guy knows his shit. I like him. I like her. I like the way they think. oh, the whatever. You can always tell the shill from somebody who is really still curious and ambitious and loves what they do and therefore loves the people that they are helping, because that's part of a vocation instead of an investment you made in a career, you know? I want to learn, I want to deal with people who have a vocation. I like purpose and vocation. So that's what I'd say. But diagnostic tools, I'm down with it. I really am. All right, let's see. Let's see. From one Jazzy Jen, I've had several jobs I loved and a few I hated, like being a banker, auditing, mortgage lending. My first loved was office manager at a veterinary practice right outside of college. The pay was slightly below other jobs, but I didn't have to buy a professional wardrobe or pay for dry cleaning or wear freaking pantyhose and heels, and can go home every day for lunch if I wanted to. I loved animals, and I was a great whisperer, and everyone who worked there was just good, caring people. The only downside was absorbing the smells from the back-end kennels. In my clothes and hair, in the really hot and humid summer months, whenever I had to walk out there, everybody else could smell it long after I was nose blind at the end of the day. Ah! Here comes Stinky Jen, they'd say. That's me saying that, not Jen. I was a real estate broker for 25 years and gravitated into single-family residential home building as a construction coordinator, and eventually partnered with an equally seasoned general contractor to form a building corporation. We kicked ass, winning awards for building standout homes with astounding curb appeal, well-thought-out plans and signature touches, things like cased-in wall cell phone charging stations before smartphones, textured and patterned concrete walls, walkways outside, bathroom exhaust fans and laundry room ceilings to suck out drier heat in the summer, cased openings lower in walls, that's kitty pass-throughs, for indoor cat lovers to have a litter box not out in the open, and shelf with window stools in kitchen and bathroom windows to accommodate potted plants, small books, candles, ashtrays, etc. I always left an aloe plant in the kitchen window if it was over the sink. The real estate sales learned a man might do all the talking, but the woman controls the domicile. You give them both what they want and it's sold. We also installed the siding and/or brick veneer and shutters immediately after framing and roofing dried in stage. They obviously really love this job more than the veterinary. Making the home look complete from the street, from the building squeamish folks to lure them in. Oh, to bring squeamish folks in. Once inside, they thought, wow, it's almost finished, but I can pick the floors and paint and cabinets, heat and air, ceiling fans, lights, get exactly what I want. Our spec homes would be under contract and sold long before everyone else's just by doing that alone. It's just out of normal draw order for construction loans, and most builders aren't capable of thinking outside the box. I loved giving people what they wanted, and we built every home like we built our own. Most importantly, we were on the site every day, keeping it moving and keeping those subs in line and on time, because we would only have 4 spec homes and one custom in build at the time, maximum. We also bought and kept 4 prime lots minimum at all time. Those prime, okay, well, this is great. Been retired since 2005 and learned that, yes, I could get pregnant after all these years of nothing happening. And my family started at 39 years old. Looking back, I always hated hose and heels. So I always was happy and happier to shed that shite and put on steel toe boots or trainers and jeans, no makeup, hair, jewelry. I also found physical labor much more gratifying and rewarding. Setting and grouting tile, laying hardwood floor, final cleaning, fireplace profiles and mantles. That mental work, which was just more stressful. Building, creating, making something was way better for me than just listing contracts, taking photos, offer contracts, closing, which I was still doing. The best jobs for me involved helping people or pets, not hurting them. I was telling Lauren, well, that's great. Lauren would love that too. She's into all that stuff. I think she wants more and more projects like that. But and as far as the mental exhaustion, I can't tell you how many times I've come home at night on a day where like I didn't work out, like it was like a rest day or something like that, and I sit down on the couch next to Lauren as soon as I walk through the door, and about an hour from now, just plop down and say, man, I can't tell you how bad I wish I was physically exhausted, just physically destroyed right now compared to the mental drain. Oh, that sucks. It sucks. It really does. All right, let's take another call. Here we go. 612 from Minneapolis. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Frank. Thanks for taking my call. How are you this evening?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Good to hear from you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, just in terms of rewarding jobs, I've been self-employed for about 20 years, and after being in the corporate world for many years before that, being self-employed is without a doubt, excuse me, the most rewarding thing there is. I can't fathom working for someone else again, but I got to admit it's become harder. Without getting into great detail, I import products from Mexico, and with Trump's tariffs, going to be taking place, I'm going to have to pass that on to the customer, which is going to, make it hard for my customers.
Yeah,
and it's probably it's going to lower or decrease my sales. But I've had a number of people come to me and said what I should do is that Trump, the day before he took office, he set up his own crypto coin.
Did you move?
And basically, I'm sorry?
Did you move from Pennington to Minneapolis?
Did I move from Pennington to Minneapolis?
Did you move from Pennington, New Jersey to Minneapolis?
No, I've been in Minneapolis for 20 years. I've never been to New Jersey.
Okay, so are we going to get around to a most gratifying job, or you want to get to the conclusion of the Trump critique?
What? I'm just confused. Why did you think I'm in New Jersey?
No, I'm just I don't know. Go ahead. So crypto coin.
Yeah.
So what? Let's get back to the topic.
Well, I was just saying how being self-employed is the most rewarding thing there is. But I'm just concerned with these tariffs getting in place. But I'm curious to get your take on this, because a number of people have come to me and said that the day before Trump took office, he set up that crypto coin. I think he's calling it Trump coin or something.
Yeah. Apparently that crashed too, or something like that. I don't know. I don't follow crypto. I saw that Bitcoin is down like $30,000 too over the last 2 weeks.
Well, basically, what people have been telling me is he set it up.
Oh, God have mercy! I just can't. If you're going to troll the show, just get to the point. All right. Yes, I understand. Sorry, you deal tariffs. Yeah, there's a realignment happening here. But God damn, we need better trolls. You just got to get to the point, guys. Call it and go. Just do that instead. Feel bad for some people. They think that they're like outsmarting you. Daniel, how are you?
No, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of my best jobs, I like doing acts of labor. And during my youthful years, I got to do some mission work. And so we had an opportunity to go down to South America. And we went down there with the promise, or not the promise, but the idea that we were going to be able to help build churches and whatnot. So essentially, we get down there and it turns into more of a missions trip kind of thing where you go door to doors and things like that. But it was rewarding in the fact that we got to actually help one of the ladies that was serving us food every morning, stuff like that. One of her sister passed away, and we were actually able to attend the funeral. And we were actually able to attend the funeral, and I actually ended up carrying a coffin about 2 miles down to the gravesite. And it it's one of those things that sticks with me, because rather than having a paycheck, it is nice to just be able to get out there and do something for someone without any kind of, reward or anything of that nature. It was probably one of the bigger moments in my life where just doing something, just, being able to carry a burden, something like that, it was a real eye-opening experience.
It's a job, a task, whatever it is, to pick up on something and to be of service. Like John had said earlier on the show, one of the first callers that came in, to be of service to people. There's a whole industry, the service industry in there. But then again, like we said, compensation is really not something that is going to be a major considering factor when you look back on life and you think about the things that you did for in service of, whatever the hell it is. And you took away something that you really couldn't have put a dollar sign on anyway. So I get you with that, man, and thank you for the call.
Yeah, right on. Take it easy.
It's essentially in the same kind of way what we were talking about with the caller from that were talking about the landscaping at the cemeteries. It's one of those things. There you have it. There you have it. Okay, we're going to take another really quick break. When we come back, we're taking this one home, so don't go any.
My fellow citizens,
welcome to Perpetual Health Minute, brought to you by Quite Frankly, a different kind of soda war. What if I told you over a 5-year period that Coca-Cola and PepsiCo sponsor at least 96 different organizations, including the American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association, all while simultaneously interfering with laws that were designed to reduce soda consumption and boost nutrition? A study appearing in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine said that the soda giants, quote, used relationships with health organizations to develop positive associations with their brands. And other organizations that received funding were the National Institutes of Health and the American Red Cross. Feels like Anheuser-Busch sponsoring an AA meeting. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And as a public, you have to think, when you get advice from these 3-letter agencies, who is paying for that advice? If you like this video, please follow the new Perpetual Health Rumble channel. You can also find us at perpetualhealth.substack.com. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and back to the show.
This is Jay with Car Guys New England, and you're watching Quite Frankly.
If my friend from Minneapolis is still out there, I have something from 4chan that we put up on the Telegram today. Something from 4chan on the Telegram today that both people who don't like Trump and do like Trump have had really interesting takes on it. And that is, of course, what's going on with the stock market. About 20% off the stock market already. Is there, what about this may be used, especially when it comes to tariffs, as an incentive for companies to build in the U.S., but also to be able to quickly deflate prices across the board? You could bring crypto into it if you want, but I really don't know anything about crypto. So when we're talking about jobs that are more meaningful to you than a paycheck, thing that you've done in your life that you really felt it served a greater purpose, or it did something for you emotionally, spiritually, personal development, and you're just dragging us along with things that just don't seem like they're going anywhere. I assume it's a troll, and we'll take you up tomorrow when whatever the hell it is, because I don't care if people call in, they don't like something that Trump is doing or anything that Trump is doing. Just put it into the context of the show. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anyway, let's get into something else here. Over on the Twitter. Over on the Twitter, we got this. Quite a few responses on Twitter. Artisan Well says, I used to run a small upscale bistro, server, bartender, manager in a country town. The owners were drunks. I treated it like my own. It was one of the lower paid jobs I've had, but I loved it so much. The longest job I ever held. It never felt like work. It was my life. Stacy says, I have worked with special needs children for a few years. I had to I had just battled kidney cancer for the second time. I went on to have it again for a third time a couple of years later, and I was so blessed to be alive. I went to school for nursing, but after my health battles, I wanted to be close to my youngest son and got a job at his school. The compensation was not even part of the equation. Working with such special needs children gave me more joy than I can describe. It was one of the biggest blessings of my life. Nikki from the chat room says, I love what I do. There's nothing better than being live at my show and speaking with Franklies in the chat room. Echo 3 Juliet says, when I was young, I had a job that I loved, production manager for a company which made giftware with a mystical theme. Loved the people, the challenge, everything. I learned a lot. Hated the 2-hour commute, though. American Wife says, my YouTube channel, if that counts. The way I know is because I keep doing it and nobody's making me, and I barely make any money. Oh, I know. I know. I was on that path for a long time. As like I said before, I was talking to you guys in my imagination, and I never stopped. And eventually, I got to cross you. So that's great. Dirt Knox says, I worked, and that's in quotations, at a horse ranch that exposed disadvantaged children, kids forced into the system for one reason or another, to the Christian faith and ranch life. Always hard, always tiring, often thankless. Most rewarding work I've ever done. That's interesting. I wish I could learn a little bit more about that from Dirt Knox. A horse ranch that exposed disadvantaged children to the Christian faith and ranch life. That's what it was set up for, huh? I want to know more about that. Carolinian Green says, I was the first mate on a tour bus to Defusky Island and dolphin viewing cruises. $400 a week under the table, but the most enjoyable job ever. I was out in nature 5 days a week, free to conduct the tours how I wanted, and would bartend for the tourists at the end of the island tour. Bunk says, I'm a librarian. After 17 years of being a stay-at-home wife and mom, I stayed at home for my husband when he was deployed, and then we had kids. I love my job, and I don't want to give it up for anything. Bring people information and joy is amazing. Librarian. I would love to just hang out in a library like that and call it my place of business. Bob Dobalina said, my first job, deckhand, on a sports fishing boat in SoCal, late 1970s. 15 years old, my high school friends as coworkers. Captain didn't care if we smoked weed, if we drank beer, and fished. As long as the customers got taken care of, it was heaven. And we got paid for it. That sounds fantastic. Brian says, though I grow tired of it at times, I love designing people's homes, making families happy. The family who occupies it makes me happier than the money, for sure. That's terrific. That is all right there from the X community post. The Quite Frankly Speakeasy. It's pinned to the top of my Twitter/X profile. You can get in there. If you're an X user, then you can go in there and you can hang out in there. Because I mirror everything that we put in the forum in there as well, including the forum link. So both have been read tonight, and that was actually a lot more of a snappy thing. That was snappy right there. Let's see here. Shotzi says, I spent 25 years working in the administration at school for the deaf. It was very humbling and meaningful. I was able to watch deaf and multiply disabled students go from nursery school through graduation from high school. I keep in touch with a student whom I sponsored as a big sister. She is now 20-year-old mom, and I enjoy getting pictures and updates from her as the years go by. I feel very fortunate to have spent many years at the school and will always have wonderful memories. I want to do something. I want to play something for you. Oh, actually, no. Did you know about this? Do you want to talk about a job? That might be fun, and the compensation, who knows? It's a real job. This is from the Cowboy State Daily. Dinosaur erection specialist. And do we have any dinosaur erection specialists out there in the audience? Positions dino skeletons at museum. That's what they do. They position dino skeletons at the museum. There's a Triceratops, and what I have to imagine is some sort of a T-Rex, playing poker, or having tea with each other. Rye Williams is a self-described dinosaur erection specialist who is a lot like a window dresser at a department store, except instead of arranging mannequins, he poses and positions delicate, huge, and ancient dinosaur skeletons. Almost always they're positioned as natural to how they would have likely looked millions of years ago when they were alive. Sometimes, though, Williams gets to let his hair down a little, like with his latest work at Dino Lab in British Columbia, in Canada, where he has two mortal enemies talking over some lovely tea. Williams, his wife Lena, and brother Nate decide to go beyond the traditional dinosaur display and make something more whimsical and thought-provoking. Bygones is the result of a mount of a Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops sitting at a 12-foot tall table, setting aside their ancient antagonism over a nice cup of tea. There you have it. Okay. There you go. Here's another thing that I thought was incredible. Along the way, I saw a firefighter, a raw point of view film, a GoPro, strapped onto the firefighter in the middle of a fire. It's the first time I had ever seen this. And same goes for a lot of people in the comment section. You got to take a look at this because it's really intense. You want to talk about serving a greater purpose. Take a look at this. You're inside. You're inside this burning building right now with the hose.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. And I was taking a look at some of these the comments in here, and I agree with all of them. This is the first time I'm seeing POV video of firefighter, and the view is scary and awesome. Damn, that's wild to somebody else. Much respect. I think we all logically know what firefighters do, but to see it from this perspective brings a whole new level of understanding. And yeah, no, this is, man. When you're talking about people that entire civilizations are built on, you can't do much without firefighters. That's for sure. Now, here's something else I want to throw your way before the show ends. And it has something to do with my hometown. My hometown, we've got a very unique post office, brass, everything. And when I was a small child, ever since I was a small child, I have been drawn in by my town's post office. And I had to look into it because I said, oh, you know what would be great if I can get these pictures. And I found somebody who did a little something on it. Now, this is, all of these murals were completed in 1936. So they got an Art Deco feel to them. The artist was Domenico Mortolito. Domenico Mortolito. So he's a guinea like me. And the description, a lobby of the post office in my end of the woods over here in Westchester, features a stunning array of 4 large New Deal murals and 9 smaller lunettes. Designed by Domenico Mortolito with Treasury Relief Art Project, TRAP. So this is all New Deal projects. We were talking about FDR's expanding of the federal government and getting money all around all of the place. This came from the New Deal. Some things that are visually striking, but unconstitutional nonetheless. Funding and installed in 1936, they depicted a wide range of human activities from shipbuilding and firefighting to music and baking. Now, I got to show you this stuff. You ready for this? When you go into my town's post office, This is what you get. Now, there's the shipbuilders, or I mean, I would just say the dock workers, one of the bigger ones. And there's all the metal workers inside the factory there. Take a look at the bakers in the bakery. I love this one. Well, it's it's a pastry. It's mass produced baking. Just nice bougie looking on the people just looking on the out to the town and the countryside. This baker I always loved. The policeman I always loved. That became the thumbnail of tonight's show. It's all over the place. The carpenter. Now, it related to tonight's show because even as a child, when I looked at the people depicted in these images, they all seemed not only to be the best at their respective crafts, but that they were working with a purpose. The firemen, they all seemed healthy and strong and muscular and teeming with life. It was implied, at least to me, that what they did professionally, the musician, what they did professionally was at least partly responsible for their strength and vitality. The doctor and the nurse, taking care of the baby. The school teacher. There you go, the grocer. That's the inside of the post office. It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful sight. And that was my favorite thing about going into that post office all throughout my childhood. And I got to go mail some Christmas stuff out there in December. And that was the first time I got to bring Aurora inside that post office. So I wanted to include that in here tonight because that's the theme of all of those really fantastic murals from the 1930s, is that there are people who are not only doing jobs, but they always seem like they're vocations, that they are all proud of what they're doing because they knew that somebody had to do them and that this is what was going to keep society together. That if we're going to keep this together any much longer than we have it, we pass it on to somebody else, that there's going to have to be that moment. Okay? So let me see here. I think that's all we have on that end. I wanted to take one or two more calls. Let's go to the Super Chats, though. Stove thank you so much. Quite frankly, superchat.com. It's great to have you out there. I'd love to get into the Rumble rants. We got, I think, two I just saw. One is from Strong Joe. It says, Frank, you are a great conversationalist, much more than a talk show, like a 1930s radio personality. I appreciate that a great deal. I really do. And the calls tonight are, I mean, this is what makes it a talk show. I would hate for this to be an ongoing monologue. Jay Semo says, what a great show with great calls. Very emotional. This is what puts you head over heels over other hosts. Thank you. Everybody does what they do. It's just whatever you do, be the best at. And I still watch a lot of hosts. They don't do what I do. I don't do what they do. But I'm just hoping to fill a void for people who want this thing to complement all the other great work that's being done out there. I want to be able to fill a void and to hunker down for the years to come. Valsky says, for the legal fund and the excellence in broadcasting that you provide every night. Thank you, Valsky. Thank you, Val, very much. Two Dogs Mike D over there, also on Rumble Rants, said, those post office pictures have a darker side too, though. Looks like a Catholic church stained glass where the images of saints and apostles are replaced with a socialist utopia. You saw dark in that? I don't know, man. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I mean, for this to be a socialist utopia, all those people, the baker, the grocer, the doctor, the people working at the shipyard, the people who are, working in the metal, the factory, that means that all of them would have been conscripted to work. Where do you get that from? I don't know. Maybe their faces, they're a little bit more, like I said, there's an Art Deco edge to everything, and they're they're very robust and very focused and whatever. There's not a lot of smiling going on, but I didn't see that as dark. Socialist utopia. You'd have to show me some evidence that they're all being conscripted to work and there's no freedom in what they're doing. I never got that. Two Dogs Mike D just sent a follow-up Rumble rant, says, LOL, I just read into anything now. Or I read into everything now. Well, listen, for this, just don't, please. This is my childhood we're talking about here. That baker hates what he's doing. You can tell. You can tell. The cop looks like Stalin art. Well, I mean, he's directing traffic. He has to be in the center of the street with some authority here. He can't just tell people, maybe stop. He has to say, stop or go. Come on. I don't know. He probably knows the person in that car behind him. Anyway. That's a little show and tell on my end. What can I say? What can I say? I tried. Over on quitefrankly.tv, let's see the gold pills. We'll get through that, and then I'm going to tell you what is going to be coming up on quitefrankly.tv after this episode concludes in just a few moments. Sean Joe, thank you. Safety Net 820 says, wonderful Wednesday. Well wishes, Warriors. One love, Lynn. Thank you, Sean Joe, again for a cookie. The Sentinel dropped a tip in there, too. Thank you so much, The Sentinel, and Braves Piano, and Amethyst Cat, who started gifting people bronze tier subscriptions. And who took it? Stuck in NY claimed one, and Nat Hendy claimed one as well. Well, hey, I hope that means that you guys are going to show up for the Sunday streams, because remember, if you sponsor the show through pilled.net, I send all the exclusive links to you in your DM. So check out your DMs on Sundays and on book club days and everything else. Smart Poker says, pimpin' ain't easy, Frank. No, it ain't. Pimpin' ain't easy. That's all I have for you. Did anybody else know this song when they were younger?
I'm a policeman dressed in blue. Here are some things I'd like to do. Direct the traffic in your town. Help to keep you safe and sound. It's my job, and I like it fine. No one has a better job than mine.
Anybody know that song?
I'm a policeman dressed in blue.
This is what I think about when I see that cop depicted on the wall in the post office. Although, take a look at this. I had to go look for this during the break. The little fat policeman, little golden book. Look at how angry he looks there. Look at that guy. Talk about Stalin art. I don't want him anywhere near me. Looks like he's taking out a lot of frustration. He's kind of like portly. Probably has no, I don't know. He seems very like he wants to make an example out of you.
I want to be a friend to you. You can see me every day. I will wave my hand and say, it's my job, and I like it fine.
Yeah.
No one has a better job than mine.
The fat little, that can't be that. Is that really? Hold on. Wait. Little Golden Book actually had fat little policeman? Little Golden Book, fat little policeman. You can't, well, where am I typing? Little Golden Book, fat policeman. You got to be kidding me. It's real. The little fat policeman. Can I read it right now? Read now. It's 9 minutes long. Can I, hold on. Somebody's got to, there has to be a PDF out there. Images. Ah. Hold on a second. I want to know what the little fat policeman. This has got to happen. All right, hold on. Wait. Read the little fat policeman. Online free. It's recorded. It's like a 9-minute video. Oh, wait. No, this is a video too. The Little Fat Policeman, Good Reads by Margaret Wise Brown. That's it. I want to read it. Nope, I gotta buy it. Just let go. It's from 1950. Let's see. Shorts, images. I'll look for this, guys. We have to read this together. We should definitely read this together. Let's do one more call before we leave. Sheila, go ahead. You're the last one of the night.
Hey, Frank. Yeah, Sheila from Washington. I wasn't going to call, but it's how you started the show with 9/11. So I'm a pastry chef, and I worked at Windows on the World.
Okay.
And I lived in Seattle when 9/11 happened, and I watched it happen in real time. And the pastry chef at Windows on the World was a wonderful, beautiful young woman who had just been hired 3 weeks before from San Francisco. And I was so distraught to think about what had happened to her that it was all I could think about. And a restaurant was going to open 4 blocks away. I didn't need the job, but I walked in and talked to him, and I became their pastry chef. And I asked to channel this woman's, I'm going to try not to cry, desire to create. So what I did was, with all my heart and soul, I prayed, and I said that I was sorry to her for what had happened, but that she could work through me. And I didn't give a damn what I was being paid. I don't think I ever really asked, but I needed that so badly because I'm from New York.
Yeah.
So I just really appreciate everybody who has called in, because what everyone has done for me is to remind me how important it is to act with reverence with what we do. And, you know, talking about how short life is, to please have reverence in what we do and to give it value and to give it meaning. So I'm sorry that I'm being a little bit on the tearful side, but apparently it's still upsetting to me. So
no, I'm glad I took your call, Sheila. I mean, because those are some really fine parting shots for everybody too.
Yeah. So God bless everyone. And yeah, I didn't know what else I could do. So I prayed about it, and I said, is there any small thing that I can do in any way? So there we go. So thank you.
Well, well, let me ask you something a little bit lighter then. What is your favorite thing to make?
I make everything. I'm classically trained in French pastry and German pastry. So basically anything you tell me to make, I can make. And I was the one that called, I don't know, a couple of years ago that talked about the Soyadel. And
I was just going to ask you about. I was just going to ask you about the Soyadel. I said you.
Well, yes.
Can you freeze dry? Can you freeze dry some Soyadel to me and send it over, or a strudel or something like that?
Dear God, yeah. Yeah, you know, at this moment today, this week, this month, I'm not doing pastry. But yeah, it's in my heart, and and I'm very talented, and I thank God for that. So there we go.
I appreciate you calling in tonight, and thank you for those parting shots, Sheila. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, you too, Frank. Thank you.
All righty. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later. There she goes. And that's for in there. There's a thank you from Sheila to all of you who called in. And I throw myself into that basket as well, as grateful. Tonight, after the show ends in just a few moments, here's what John Carroll has curated for the after hours. King Nico, AI versus AI debate. Flat Earth versus globe Earth. Oh, so AI is going to debate each other on flat versus globe Earth. Okay, I'm going to have to watch that one. Sam Hyde, Jubilee, Modrika, Jessam Guy, changing images of man parts 1 and 2. Changing images of man parts 1 and 2, not man parts. Don't read it like I did. But this sounds like a really interesting one. all here on March 12th, 2025, quitefrankly.tv. It begins in just moments. Go head over there right now, and thank you guys and gals. Tomorrow is Thursday, and I will see you here again, and the lines will be open, and hopefully the topics will be hot. So there you have it. Let's see. Did I miss anything? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And oh, Two Dogs Mike D just says that song sounds like some commie gobbledygook, if you ask me. See, I can't win tonight. I just can't win. Thank you, Bad Fish. Says happy birthday, Catherine. Catherine, happy birthday. And that's all. Good night. I will see you tomorrow.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with and starring Snowstube. Thank you to all of our wonderful Rumble ranters and our gold pillars. We're releasing the scratch off right now, and I'm even moving on to dumping out the treasure chest on D-Live, so you guys enjoy all of that. I'll see you in the chat room for after hours, and tomorrow is another day. Thank you so much. Become a sponsor of the show. We need your support through this year, through this month, and all the ones in the future. So take care.
You're going to realize it one day. That happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all of those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that your happiness was never in the hands of others. One day you will realize that true happiness comes from within, and no external factors can define it. It was always about you. It was always about you.